There's someone in the distance. Who is that?
Here, a genius move. And how will you counter it? Only an idiot would ask such a question. Just move this here. You look distressed. Something the matter? If that's the case, you better get thinking. Are you waiting for a sign? Time is ticking. Descend via the elevator. What you seek is there. Have you considered whether the answer to your question will be of any relevance to our current predicament? If a question is of no help, then don't ask it. Time is clearly precious to the both of us. Never mind. Allow me to clarify something. I know exactly who you are, and I'm aware you are in Ron May's employ. This was not my intended destination. I just happened to find my way here during my visit and saw what she was up to. My goals are roughly aligned with yours. Since you're here, I won't intercede, but should you fail, I will be forced to prevent some avoidable misfortunes. That's all you need to know. Just 2 paragraphs. Very effective communication. I can't stand discourtesy, even when it comes from myself. The real Ron May's creation is hidden in the giant incubator below us. Go. Take the elevator and bear witness to this genius masterpiece. After 56 seconds, the creature was unable to sustain its own existence and vanished as if it had never been born. The threat is over. Time to get going. That's right. Which is precisely why we need him. The last to lay eyes on Herta's puppet before the attack was him.
And you are?
This is Dr. Ratio of the Intelligentsia Guild, a delegate from the IPC.
He's only just woken up, dazed. He may need a few pointers. Ah, we cross paths again. Do you remember me? Of course. You. Memory is such a fickle thing, after all. Ah, the technology department. Charming little place, isn't it? Madame Yabuli does possess some semblance of competence, but her subordinates? Oof. Oh, they're a riot. Brimming with enthusiasm, yet utterly devoid of intellect. It's as if evolution halted prematurely for them. They want to start some new collaborations with Herta, and have graciously extended an invite for me to play the role of science consultant. It's delightfully amusing. I can't wait to witness firsthand how these geniuses from the so-called Super Smart Club squander the IPC's vast resources. However, this attack was timed a little too well. I can't help but wonder if someone leaked this information, and the attackers seized the opportunity. Herta's aloof response to these juvenile provocations? Almost as intriguing. What a delightful little puzzle. Save your flattery. Time is hardly a luxury we can squander. To debate the merits of mere mortals in the company of an actual genius? Quite the paradox, if you ask me. Excuse me, you. Tell me, what were you doing the last time you saw that puppet? Don't play the fool. Think. I commend your stamina for recounting that interminable tale. You must be exhausted. My ears certainly are. So, to sum it up, the last time you laid eyes on Herta was in her office. She sent you on a wild goose chase for some trinket, the curio, after which you knew nothing else until Lady Asta contacted you. If that's the narrative you're sticking to, then indulge me. Who, pray tell, can substantiate this captivating drama? Well, if you lace up those boots and start sprinting now, you might just catch the IPC shuttle in 4 system hours. But as it stands, not a single soul can corroborate his story. Apologies, it's an unfortunate habit of mine. When one is immersed in academic research, skepticism comes far more naturally than belief. It is also the most efficient method, judging from my experience. Seeking answers with a negative hypothesis in mind is still valid research. It can still help us reach the truth. If he is truly innocent, he can clear his name with answers. Based on your story, you met with Herta because she specifically wanted you for an assignment.
If you knew her...
Don't interrupt other people. Did no one teach you manners? And the assignment involves a curio that doesn't even have a name. True. You wouldn't be able to make that up.
Why do I feel like I'm being looked down on?
Herta's collection. An endless trove of trinkets and baubles. And yet, she singles out one nameless ordinary curio? It's hard for me to imagine she would treasure one curio so much. Say what you want to say. Yes, that seems logically sound. Then you said you asked Asta for help with the lost curio. However, she decided to hold her tongue until now?
Mr. Ratio.
I'm asking him, Lady Asta. Your testimony went out the window the second you started being secretive. So what's the story? Are you full of fanciful fiction? Or is Asta the one hoarding secrets like they're going out of style? What could be more important than Herta's safety? Oh, so that explains why Lady Asta approved of my participation. After all, the Intelligentsia Guild's representative wouldn't be linked to the space station, but would still share the IPC's position. They wouldn't be partial to anyone, but would still act for the space station's benefit. 2 birds with 1 stone. Researchers' disappearances, you say? Yes, I've heard the responsibility of sorting out that mess has been thrust upon Arlen, head of the security department. Adler? Well, did he enlighten you? Clearly, though, it bears no connection to Herta's puppet being attacked. She did say that, but then what? If these 2 incidents were caused by the same person, then the suspicion put on you would decrease, provided that this fire suppression record does exist in the system. A declaration of war, and an announcement of what's to come. They have set their sights on you. The Legion's impact remains, and the Annihilation Gang is already paying a visit. It almost seems like this space station is more suited for the path of destruction than erudition. A group of pitiful lunatics. I like Dr. Primitive's assessment of them. The value Nanook sees in the Annihilation Gang is perhaps far less than one might see in a child who deliberately broke a vase. The fire demons have a cruel temper and instinctively ignite and destroy items. Ifrit is particularly evil and cruel, even among his kin. The Everflame mansion he heads is even the arch-enemy of the Japella Brotherhood, despite both groups belonging to the Annihilation Gang. The Japella Palace crumbled in the scorching flames, and Ifrit's power has grown by the day ever since. Would you believe it would be merely a coincidence? Something similar is about to happen here. Spontaneous combustion? For him, it's as routine as me finding fault in everything. The disappearance of researchers and the puppet were all part of the plan. And after that video will soon circulate. And this station's fate? Flames. Nothing but flames. I'm afraid more than trust will be destroyed here. You need to start acting now if you want to survive. You, come with me. You have a superior strategy? Pray tell, do we set the two of them loose, turning whispered fears into full-blown pandemonium? A list of the missing researchers and their details. A list of the missing researchers and their details. Take it. Remember these names. Find a friend who's tuned into the gossip around here and tell them you want to know the relationship between these people. I don't know. That depends on your friend. Take me to the one who knows the most about curios within the Department of Ecology, if you would be so kind. Lead the way. You said Adler was on the verge of a discovery, yet couldn't confer his knowledge. Intriguing and frustrating, to say the least. If his disappearance is also related to the case here, then maybe he really did stumble upon something important. What did he talk about? Phrase. Your countenance suggests tragedy. So the researchers who disappeared were at the forefront of challenging management. Isn't that a curious puzzle piece? I finished browsing through this booklet while you were replying to messages. It recorded the lives of a few Genius Society members. I'd say it contains some interesting information. It's time to go back and chat with Lady Asta and Mr. Screwlum. Less than promising. Or to use a different phrase, we're in deep trouble. We're running out of time. Let's retrace our steps and evaluate the situation. From the data we've collected, there are 3 avenues we can explore. First, Adler's disappearance. He must have come across some vital information. Indeed, and I already know what he found. The next angle is what the victims have in common, distasteful as that discussion may be. Last is the abilities of Duke Inferno and the secret of spontaneous human combustion.
I understand.
Tenuous connections. Enough of this nonsense. During prior unrest, instigated by the Everflame Mansion, some testified to seeing miscreants materialize from the Inferno. The flickering tongues of Duke Inferno's fire carrying a certain property, and this property is the secret behind spontaneous human combustion. Look, the answer is right there. This booklet describes a kind of fire that can phase through dimensions, claiming it burns through worlds, leaving numerous scions of flame behind. The kindling of this unique flame must be the missing curio that Hurt has been searching for, and Duke Inferno is evidently spawned from it. I fear that this is the truth Adler discovered. When Schurling said, Adler kept muttering about a phrase before he disappeared. I believe this word was actually phase. He saw Member 29 Sir Call's research topic in this booklet and verified his hypothesis. As a scion of the phase flame, Duke Inferno would naturally share similar capabilities. Full-on phase shifting may be a bit too ambitious for him, but teleportation, that's likely more his speed. That is the truth of the spontaneous human combustion. The researchers didn't disappear. They were moved. We don't know where the victims went, but Duke Inferno's plan is now clear. And the sudden and consecutive disappearances provided the best environment for chaos to fester. Once the seed of unrest has sprouted, he will then send out an announcement for an imminent attack. It will push the crisis from the dark into the light, catalyzing it into new growth and bloom. The next step would be to ignite the spark. Look at those researchers who disappeared. What would happen if someone realized their similarities? I need say no more. We're running out of time. Indeed, it needs one more spark. If you limit your involvement to this, there's still room for excuses. If it were me, I wouldn't give you the chance. That flame must still be somewhere inside the station. Find it, and we'll find a way to bring her back. It seems that Duke Inferno didn't deign to personally grace the space station. He merely cast infernal fire into our midst to wreak havoc among the researchers. When the fire fizzles out, his malevolent plans will vanish without a trace. Infernal fire is also a form of energy life form. The imaging device will pick up its trace. Follow it. For the theater of the mediocre. The way is awash with flames. It must have just teleported. Be careful. Get ready to dash into the fire. See? It's still in the space station. Like Skrullum said, it cannot escape from here. Do you know what to do with cornered prey? Hunt it to the death. It's still resisting. The fold in the space has shifted. I can deduce it in a glance. The defense? Never stop thinking. Fail. Get out. Let's test your knowledge. Not bad. 5 point. Call that defense? SAS per Kibby. Knowledge is the measure of all things. It reveals truth and falsehood. You have answers. Think. I'm asking the questions. Let's test your knowledge. 0 points. Next. SAS per Kibby. Knowledge, the measure of truth and falsehood. The flame is getting weaker. Duke Inferno can't maintain it anymore. Seems like this chase is about to end. It's over. A small fragment of consciousness in there is gone. Duke Inferno has discarded this fire. Oh? No. Hold on. The banal theatrics of stalling. Let's not. Shall we? So this is the extent of miscreants materializing from the Inferno. Seems like Dr. Primitive wasn't wrong. The fire is weakening. It's preparing to flee. You, keep your eye out for Lady Asta's whereabouts.
I've been waiting.
Fallout from this incident remains. Surely you have plenty of pressing matters to attend to. Or is the safety of the space station beneath your concern? When did you start to doubt me? I must say, I'm quite honored, Mr. Screwlum. But do explain, why opt for silent wisdom when you already had the pieces of the puzzle? Oh, and when did you become convinced? Had I not fortuitously acquired a spark of the phase flame and intervened in Duke Inferno's teleportation, those people would already be space waste, floating past the windows here. But still behaving within your calculations, no? One last question, Screwlum. Genius though you are, can you deduce why I did this? The ruler of planet Screwlum is indeed well versed in the human mind. It's a pity you're as much in the ivory tower as other geniuses. You still got one thing wrong. To stand aside and observe is the best treatment one can give. There is a disease called foolishness that is harder to cure than any ailment. The path of erudition has neither reason nor logic. While geniuses wander among the stars, the ordinary can't even trace their footsteps. Those less gifted have no choice but to walk alone, enduring a lifetime of tumbles and triumphs. But even a life marked by failure is a life worth living. It is only in moments of solitude and despair, when help is absent, that fools grasp how to pick themselves up. I have a fastidious nature. I cannot stand fools, idiots, or imbeciles. Seeing them fills me with dread. Regrettably, this space station is just like the Intelligentsia Guild, devoid of geniuses and filled with mediocrity. I am only laying out my questions. As for the answers, they'll find them themselves. Pursuit tinged with negativity is still pursuit, and it is capable of leading us to the right conclusion. For the masses of the mediocre to reach a level of awareness, this is a necessary rite of passage. As for the spark I leave behind, it is also a lesson I left for her. With that, I take my leave. I look forward to future encounters with such brilliant minds. Let's hope they're as memorable as those we had today. A farce full of trivial concerns. Ultimately, they're just mediocre minds. How quaint. A space so meticulously curated just for my refined tastes. I suppose it might do for moments of reflection. Perhaps the best part is that even with so many present, there's a delightful scarcity of simpletons. That was a compliment. As a nameless who's always on the road, constantly meeting with various characters, don't these encounters become wearisome? It's no small feat. The average person is easily swayed by their environment, after all. Go ahead and try. With this mask on, I intend to keep the world at bay.